Hi everyone, Namaste, Tashidale. So today I want to talk a little bit about inner peace. So what is inner peace? Inner peace is peace within our mind. And so we can all agree that our mind is a very important factor in our lives. It determines whether we're happy or unhappy, angry or sad. And so our mind and our experience is all determined by our mental state. So it's very important that we generate inner peace within our mind so that our whole lives become peaceful, our whole experience of life becomes more peaceful. So that's something very important for us all to try to cultivate, I think. If our mind is disturbed, or our mind is unhappy, or something has upset us, then our mind will look at the world through that mental state, and we will see the world in a more negative and more unhappy state, which is coloured by that emotion that we're experiencing. And so our emotions are usually affected by the things that happen to us in our day-to-day lives. Whether they be good or bad is determined by our perspective of them. And so in order to generate peace within our mind, as I mentioned in my previous blog update, I got to meet with His Holiness in January while in Mungod, and I wanted to ask His Holiness this question: how do we experience or generate more peace within our mind? So His Holiness answered that question by explaining that we need to recognize the three poisonous attitudes, or the three mental delusions that are rooted within our mind. So they are the first is confusion or ignorance. The second one is aversion or anger, and the third is attachment or craving. So His Holiness explained that in order to generate peace within our mind, we have to the first step is to recognize those three root disturbing emotions as when they are arising in our mind, and at that time we have to apply the antidotes to those. So for example, for ignorance or confusion, we have to apply the antidote of the correct understanding of reality, the interdependence, and also the selflessness of phenomena, which is a bit more of a complicated antidote to understand, but in its very basic term, it's a bit. It comes down to the voidness of the inherent reality. So just to see that whatever we're facing, it has no inherent existence. And so that as it appears to us, it doesn't actually exist in that way. And the second, so aversion or hatred or anger, we counteract with patience. So we generate patience towards the person who's making us angry, or to the situation that is intolerable, so we apply tolerance to that in that moment. And then for attachment or grasping or craving, we apply the antidote of the impermanent nature of that thing that we're attached to or that we're craving after, the experience that we're craving, where we recall that that experience or that pleasure that we will find or that we're seeking is impermanent, and it's not something that can in the long term fulfill our happiness. And so in order to the first phase of this process of recognizing these three delusional mental states or three delusional emotions, is first we need to have that introspection. And so in order to generate that introspective mind, the reflexive mind, which is able to watch itself and see these emotions arising as like a witness, rather than being absorbed as we usually are in those mental states. So we need to engage in meditation, which is the habituation of generating a stable mind, which is then able to observe itself. Most of the time, probably 99% of the time, we are totally on autopilot, and we're not aware of what is actually going on in our mind. We're just experiencing it in a gross way, and we're kind of going with the flow. So in our day-to-day lives, something makes us angry and we follow along with anger, and we just let that destroy all of our peace and our happiness within our lives. And there can be an after effect of that, where that mental state of anger and rage continues for quite a long time until it dissipates, depending on how much we let it arise within us. And the same with attachment also. We can get really strong, intense desire or attachment to something, obsession for something, that it pervades all of our thoughts, and we can't think of anything else. So we're in the flow, and while we're in that flow, it's stealing our peace and our happiness for us to be who we really are. And so this first stage of the recognition is brought about through our habitual practice of observing the mind and being with the mind and seeing how it operates. So, starting a regular meditation practice, only for 5 minutes, even less, even 1 minute, 2 minutes, if that's all you're able to manage, especially at the beginning, then that will be really helpful. If you do that on a regular basis, once or twice a day, then over time you'll be able to tap into that reflexive mind, and you'll be able to utilize that consciously, and it will even arise eventually spontaneously when you're experiencing adverse conditions or situation, such as these three delusional minds, which are always at play. The problem is we're never aware of them. So the first phase is becoming aware. There's lots of tools and resources available to us on YouTube and various other discussion forums, as well as apps available to help us engage and start meditation. There's lots of numberless books available. So to start just the simple practice of just sitting beginning of your day before everything starts, and just to sit with your mind, your breath, observing your breath, just for 1 to 2 minutes at the beginning. If we can increase that gradually, even just 5 minutes. If we can only get for 5 minutes and have time for 5 minutes, then that will be enough to help us begin the process of starting more peace within our mind. And then also we can do that at the end of the day before we sleep. All the hustle and bustle and all the experiences we've had within the day which have disturbed our mind, stirred up all kinds of things which have destroyed our peace that we started the day maybe with. If we can go to sleep with that peaceful state, then our peace will become more stable and more peaceful. We will sleep better, which will then also mean that we will have a better day. Our day and our the way that we can take on the day and life is very heavily dependent on our sleep. So if we don't get good quality of sleep, then how are we even have the basic tool or the basic starting point, to have a peaceful day, a peaceful life. So meditation cannot be more emphasized, and so His Holiness kind of reiterated that very clearly. So thank you for listening, and please try to start generating more inner peace,